Alright, everybody, welcome to the info stream for the 2026 Firecracker 400. Part of me is kind of shocked I'm even doing this race. But regardless if you're watching live or a little bit later, I appreciate everyone watching and showing interest for this one-off NR race. So, before I get everything started, um, the question is, and this is a question I've been admittedly asking myself the last several months. Why am I even doing this race? Why am I even doing this race? I went around all last year saying Atlanta was my final race. And yes, I still consider that, like I said in the announcement, I still consider Atlanta last year for Palm Summer League as my final race. I still consider that my final race sentimentally. And that this is just merely like a one-off race. Kind of like how, an older driver, like, how Bill Elliott used to do like one, like in 2018, did that one off at Road America. Like, how, like, kind of like that, how a driver who's retired for years comes back, comes back within a year as a one-off race and then comes back into retirement. That's kind of like I envision this race to be. Um, and another reason why too, I think we've all had a tough year, especially the racing community, because we've lost a number of big names. I mean, Michael Annett, Alex Zanardi, Greg Biffle, Denny Hamlin's father, Kyle Busch, among others. I think the racing community as a whole, we've had a tough year to digest, and for me personally too, I've also had a tough year. Um, I mentioned I'm not trying to make about myself too, but I mentioned I was gunning for an internship. I'm not getting into the details what the internship was, but it was with a media role within the racing industry. That's all I'll say. It was a media internship role within the racing industry. And I didn't get it. I didn't get out. It sucked. It sucks. I didn't get it. And I think bringing something familiar to all, like doing something familiar could benefit. Bring in some sort of familiarity. Creating something familiar could help bring us. Help kind of keep everyone at peace. So that's why I'm doing this race. Just bring something a little familiar and fun to everyone who I think has had a tough year, especially ever since the last race I did. And as for smaller updates too, um, Las Vegas, I'm gonna do a vlog with that. I said in the summer I should probably like if anything, I'm probably like July or August when that Vegas stuff gets released, because there's a lot of stuff I need to go through with the editing and that. Uh, Obviously I'll probably do like 2 or 3 parts. I'm not really sure. And also I'm trying to go to more races later this year as well. Most notably, I'm trying to go to Daytona. I'm trying to go to Daytona for the summer race, which that should be really fun. I haven't been to Daytona in almost like 8 years. So almost 8 years. So at this point, so it's gonna be cool if I can go to Daytona again, and I'll definitely vlog that as well. So that's why I'm doing this race. Just bring some sort of familiarity in a time that I think a lot of people would like something familiar. So of course, with this being the Firecracker 400, we're gonna have the full Firecracker week. I thought initially it was gonna be like a smaller Firecracker week, but we're gonna have the full Firecracker week with practice, the WeatherTech duels, and the Firecracker 400 itself. Actually, hold on, that's not the right logo. This is the older logo. Let me fix that. That was a screw up by my part. There you go. That's the more correct logo. That's the new Firecracker 400 logo. I designed it myself. Um, I recently got an Apple Pencil for my iPad, or Apple Pencil knockoff, I should say, and I drew that pencil on. I drew the little Firecracker on there. I think I done it pretty good, and of course the map of the United States there to represent America 250, and of course the 4th of July theme that this race always has, and always will have. All right, so time for basic info, kind of the boring stuff, and it makes it the fun stuff. So the mod I'll be using for this year's Firecracker is the NASCAR Cup Series mod, an NCS 21 mod, or the NASCAR Cup Series 2021 mod. Now, some people may have not heard of this mod. Essentially what it is the 2019 Cup mod. The only difference is the Chevy Camaros are updated to the more like the style they used from 2020 and 2021, the more flatter Chevy Camaro nose. That's not as pointy. You'll see in the pictures later the difference. So that's the main difference with that mod. I'll get to the compatibility with the schemes later because that's gonna be very important. But that's what the NASCAR 21 mod is. It's just the point and more at it's the same 2019. It's the 2019 mod that I think everyone has seen at least one race or even painted a scheme for at least once in their time in NR, just with the more accurate Camaro from 2020 onwards. And also going to be using the 2019 to 2021 Super Speedway spoilers. You'll also see those later. So those giant ass spoilers, according to Dale Jr., we refer to them as. That's the spoilers we're going to be using here, and that overwhelmingly won the vote I did on Discord. I think only like the other option we had was the 2018 mod with the more with their Super Speedway package and whatnot, with the before when they had the restrictor plates and had the smaller spoilers and the longer bumpers. That was the other option, but the 2021 mod with the giant ass spoilers overwhelmingly won the fan vote I put up this past week. Of course, one car per person. You can choose any number from the you can choose any number from the number list that's quote unquote posted, but if anything that should be if anything that should say like any number. Let me fix that. Yeah, even after all of this, I still can't get this crap right. Sorry, guys. So what it should say. Let me fix that. Any number from can be right. There we go. This is what it should say, not that. Shit. Sorry. There we go. This is what it should say. Any number from the 2017 to 2021 Cup Series can be used. And to answer Corvette's question, will the paint scheme just be the schemes for 2021? But in RDOs can be available? Yes. So any scheme that's made on NR from 2017 to 2021 Cup Series can be used, although there are stipulations depending on what manufacturer you go with. And I'll get to that in the ensuing slides. Can you use your real name or alias? No impersonation, please. The driver rating should be set to 95. No random ratings for this one because it's just a one-off race. I don't really see the point of doing whole different ratings just for a one-off race. So all the ratings will be standardized like they were in older series. And the AI difficulty will be set to 100%. The max driver is going to have is 38. I wanted an even number because typically we had like 35 for the older golf series and the one Palm Summer League we had. On the last year we had like 40. But 38 drivers I think is a reasonable number. Not too many, but not too little either in my eyes. And it's even, so the duels won't be kind of weird and whatnot. As usual, everyone is required to join the server. I did pin the new Discord link in the chat. And it's also in the description of the video, and as well as the description of my channel. I did have to update it last year because we had like a lot of bots and stuff like that join spam bullshit, so I had to change the link. Actually, so hopefully it doesn't happen anytime. Hope it doesn't happen, but we have a new link. So far, we've been pretty good with those bots not spamming. Of course, you could be removed if rules are broken. We haven't had that problem in years, so it's not real hard to follow the rules, especially for a one-off race. So, yeah. And like I said, this race is a one-off, not a series. I'm not doing any more series. I am done with NR series. I'm not doing any more of them. I'm done. And it's also not necessarily a guarantee for the future. I'll be honest. I won't be surprised if this is my final race. Ever. I won't be surprised. I know I said that last time, but like I said in the intro, like, think of it as a retired driver coming. Think of this race as a retired driver coming back, doing just a one-off race for fun, and then go back into the sunset. That's what I envisioned this race to be. Could I do one next year? Maybe. Could I do another holiday race? Maybe, but I don't know. There's a chance. I'm not saying I won't do another holiday race or another Firecracker in the future, but I'm just saying like I can't guarantee anything. I can't guarantee anything. If that makes any sense. I can't guarantee anything for the future. Now, I will also not be painting any paint schemes for people. If you want to, I'll get to the schemes. I know I keep saying that, but when I get to the schemes, I won't be taking any paint scheme requests. I just don't have time to do that right at this point. This is admittedly a lot when I admittedly wanted to announce this race a lot earlier, but at this point, there's things that got there's things that got in the way, or there's other things they need to, you know, tend to, and also make sure NR runs as well as it did before, because Windows has to have stupid updates. I had to make sure all that stuff got aside as well. I had to make sure all of that's aside. I was going to announce this race earlier, and especially at this point, I mean, it's about to be, tomorrow's going to be June 1st. I don't have time to paint 38 cars from scratch in like less than like a little over, and have in like 3 weeks. That's just not feasible for me at all. And also, I don't want to have other people put that stress on me, because I know everyone's busy with their lives and everything. So there'll be no, I won't be painting any paint schemes for people. I'll get to the scheme stuff later. And also no past champion reserves from any golf golf Winter Street stocks, HWO, and not listed here, but Pomp Summer League champions either. So here's the 2021, better look at the 2021 mod. So here's the Chevy Camaro. You can't tell, so let me find, so you can't really tell, let me actually insert a picture from what I took in the fan vote. But this is the Chevy Camaro. You got a little preview of what the cars will look like. So the front banner will have a patriotic banner like in previous Firecrackers. You got the 250 there, your driver name in the center, and the manufacturer name. And on the back, this is kind of what an imposed Super Speedway spoiler looks like. I just took this picture from Car Viewer and just made it look like the Super Speedway spoiler. And of course, to honor the late Kyle Busch, I'm gonna put Rowdy on every single car people will sign up for. Let me show you another picture of the Camaro that more accurately shows like the less pointy nose, because it's a little hard to tell from this angle. The less pointy Camaro nose. This one. So here we go. So this is the Camaro with the less pointy nose. You can see the point's different, and also the back is a little bit different as well from the original Camaro 01 that they reused initially. So this is gonna be the more accurate Camaro from 2020 to 2021 that we're gonna be using in this race. And we got the Ford Mustang and the Toyota Camry. These are the same exact Toyota Camry and Ford Mustang models from the original 2019 mod, so nothing really new here. And the same can be said for the Dodge. I'll get to the Dodge. Well, I know I keep mentioning the paint schemes, but I'm pretty sure it's not, like right at the next slide. I'll get to the paint schemes finally. So this is the Dodge Challenger, because there is a Dodge in this 2019 mod and also the 2021 mod as well. So that's what it looks like. It looks really cool. This would be cool if they actually did use this in real life. Unfortunately, Dodge didn't exist in NASCAR for all those years. They might be coming back soon. As a Trackhouse fan, I would not mind if we switched to fucking Dodge, but whatever. That's besides the point. That's what the Dodge looks like. Now, I mentioned obviously Dodge did not actually race in NASCAR in 2021, so how in the hell are you gonna use the Dodges? Oh no, okay. After a few more previews, then I get to this games. We're also gonna use special tires. This being the patriotic race and everything, we're gonna use these Honor Remember tires. I'm pretty sure the original that's the original tire creator. I forgot exactly. I think it's with the 2020 Coke 600 tires. I could be wrong, but we're gonna be using special tires for this race too. And here's also a better look at the spoiler as well. So you can see the big. Obviously you can't do a wicker barrel in NR. Some of the older Gen 4 cars have it, but this is what the spoiler looks like, which is more accurate to the Super Speedway spoilers of that era. I guess the scheme stuff is later, but if you're into the scheme stuff, stay tuned. I'll probably post the scheme stuff in the general chat after this. So basic info about practice is kind of self-explanatory, but I'll explain it anyway. There'll be 2 practice sessions. All 38 cars will participate. Practice 1 will be in the daytime. Practice 2 will be at night. And each practice session will be 40 minutes long. And if any car, like last year, gets involved in a wreck or it has some sort of mechanical issue, they will have to start at the rear of the field for the main race. We actually had several drivers have that issue last year. And that applies to the duels as well. If you're involved in the wreck in the duels or have an issue in the duels, you have to start in the back as well. And so that's going to carry over from last year and previous years as well. And the current dates for the practice sessions will be Saturday. The first practice session will be on Saturday, June 27th at 1:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But the second practice session will be the following day on Sunday, June 28th at 7:45 Eastern Standard Time, p.m. Eastern Standard Time. just after the Sonoma Cup race, pending any delays to that race. Okay, here we go. Scheme info. I thought this was before the practice, but I put it just after. Anyways, here this one's important. This one is very important. I'm gonna repost this. So the schemes, the race for the scheme selection will most rely on the pre-made paint schemes from 2017 to 2021, and for the mod in general. Like, so like any schemes, like, okay, if you download a NR mod, there might be some obviously real life schemes, but also some fantasy schemes as well. We're going to use those as well as some of the many real life schemes that are available for this mod platform. And I detailed all the specifications for each other manufacturer. So for the Chevy Camaro, I tested the compatibility with each manufacturer. So the Chevy Camaro, any scheme from the Cup 2018 mod as well as 2019 mod will work. They will work, but they won't look ideal. They won't look ideal. I actually recently tried a 2018 Camaro paint scheme on these 2021 body. It worked, quote unquote, but there was some things like the Camaro grille didn't look exactly right. But they work. Bottom line is they work. However, and they work. So if you still want to use like a 2018 paint scheme or something with this 2021 mod, you totally can. And I'm going to try my best to make sure these older schemes look as good as possible. There's certain assets I can copy over from the newer template onto the older scheme to make them look better and make them look as good as possible. So if you want to use a 2018 scheme from a Camaro, you totally can. As you got to do some extra work, which isn't that big of a deal because I have to do extra work on the cars anyway to add the banners and whatnot. For the Ford Mustang, is fully compatible with any 2019 Cup mod. The Mustang model in this 2021 mod is the exact same as the 2019 scheme. So if you want to put a 2019 scheme in this 2021 mod, you totally can, no problem whatsoever. Now the Toyotas are interesting. They're fully compatible with any paint scheme from the 2017 Splash and Go mod. So if as old as the 2017 mod, I should say. So if you're using a Toyota or thinking about using a Toyota Toyota paint scheme, you have a lot of options. A 2017 scheme will totally work with this 2021 mod. Totally work. It'll be fully compatible. I have to do very little to no changes to it. It'll totally be fine. So if you want to use like a Martin Truex 2017 paint scheme, you totally can. It will totally work. So that's gonna be really cool. So you have a lot of options with the Toyotas if you want good paint scheme options. The Dodge Challenger. This one's odd. It's because obviously since there was no real life Dodges in 2019, or any period from NASCAR since 2012, really, it's gonna be different. So any fantasy paint schemes painted for the 2019 Dodge in the 2019 mod will work. They will work, but keyword fantasy and also pre-made customs. Like I said before, I'm not going to do dedicated custom. I'm not taking any dedicated customs requests for this race. But if you already have a custom made for like a previous series, or painted one for fun, or found something on Stone Out Racing or some other website you want to use and have the link to, and want to send me, and also like the original creators, I can credit them and whatnot. Send it to me, and I'll use them. So yeah, but that's to keep in mind if you select a Dodge, because I know Dodge the last time for the Palm Summer League, Dodge was actually the most popular manufacturer for the Palm Summer League. There are less paint scheme options because there are no real life Dodges around that time. But if you want to, if you have a pre-made custom scheme, a fantasy scheme, or like a Dodge in the game, like in the base mod, like I think there's some Dodges in the 2019 mod, like just there as fantasy schemes. You can use them. Just let me know exactly what scheme you want me to. Just please let me know exactly what scheme you want me to use. And that goes for also any specific real life schemes. Oh, that's, I'm going to go that far. But that also goes for any specific real life scheme. Like, oh, I want to use this scheme from like, this driver ran into 2018, like Sonoma or something. Send me the picture and I'll try my best to find it if you want a very specific scheme. Or better yet, a download link. Now as for the duels, we're going to have duels again this year like previous years. There'll be 2 duel sessions, duel 1 and duel number 2. The duel lineups will be randomized, kind of like how we did the random teams for the random alliances, I should say, for the Triple Winner Challenge. how I just completely randomize them. That's going to be how the duels are going to be, since this isn't for points or for a championship. So it will be completely random. Each duel will be 14 laps long. Duel number 1 will set the inside spots. Duel number 2 will set the outside spots for rows 4 to 19 respectively. And like previous series, the top 3 finishers of each duel will move on to the Fast 6 that will set rows 1 to 3. And like last year, the duels, like I said, are going to be live streamed like last year with the Palm Summer League. And the time for the duels, the stream time for the duels, will be on Monday, June 29th at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You may notice that a lot of the Firecracker League stuff is a lot closer compared to what it was last year, because last year the Atlanta race was like right in the middle, literally right in the middle of everything related to Firecracker League, so they kind of split it up into take like a several-day gap between all the Firecracker stuff. But all the Firecracker League content will be pretty close together this year. And as for the Fast 6, top 3 finishers, like I said, of each duel will move on to this. Each driver will have 2 single car laps instead of 3, with the 2-lap average being used to determine the starting spots, just to kind of make everything, quicker and just make the process go faster. I've especially with no point situation, with this not being a series or a championship series or having this race under, there's gonna be less stuff for me to talk about with each driver. So I don't want to have just nothing, in between that time. So we're going to have only 2 single car laps, and the average of those 2 laps will be used to determine the starting spots. Now, with less laps, of course, that means probably a better chance for a tie. I don't be surprised if we have a few ties in this practice session. In the Fast 6 session, I should say. Now, if there's a tie, if 2 drivers at the same time, the fastest lap from practice, so will be used as the tiebreaker. How that works, basically, okay, we're going to have 2 practices. Whoever had the fastest lap, based off both practices, whoever had the fastest lap in either practice, like say for example 2 drivers tie for like second place or whatever, right? We're gonna look at both times of the drivers in both sessions, and whoever the fastest, and of those 2 drivers, whoever had the fastest time, regardless of what session it is, will get the tiebreaker. And the Fast 6 time will be on Wednesday, July 1st, and this will be pre-recorded and edited. And now finally for the race. And this kind of goes without saying, but the track will be the exact same Daytona BBMC from 2020. There's a day and a night version. It depends. Okay, duels will be during the day, the race will be at night, and the practices will be split. But regardless, Daytona BBMC 2020 will be the track version we use. 42 laps long, similar to the Firecrackers from the Palm Summer League. Double file restarts. Lap cars will restart in the back, and a maximum of three green-white checkered attempts. And keep in mind, if a caution comes out, the leaders will race back to the line. And this includes the final lap as well. If the caution comes on the final lap, the winner will not be determined on who was the leader at the time of the caution, but instead whoever races back to the line first. So keep that in mind. Silent lap number 8 to honor our fallen drivers. I mentioned the ones I think we all know, all the drivers, that we've sadly lost over the last year. We're going to honor all of them on a silent lap number 8. New editor, DaVinci Resolve, as opposed to Premiere Pro. I'm still maybe not overly familiar with DaVinci. That NR- I did, a week or 2 ago? Yeah, 2 weeks ago. That was my first race done with DaVinci Resolve. That was the first thing I think that's pretty sure the first YouTube project I fully edited with DaVinci Resolve, because with the Darlington stuff, I did kind of half and half Adobe, and then I switched to DaVinci. That NR- was the first full DaVinci Resolve project I've done, and this Firecracker is probably going to be the longest one to date. So I'm still trying to learn this editor. Those things probably not going to be nearly as exact as they were before, because new editor. I keep telling people this. Switching video editors is almost like switching instrument, switching from a guitar to like a violin. They look similar. They look very similar, but they are different. They're very different in how they work. So, yeah. So keep that in mind. So if not everything's going to work exactly, if things are not going to look exactly as, as good as they were before, it's because, this new editor is definitely a lot different than Adobe. You kind of already saw with the preview of the car makes. Patriotic banner with the driver last name on the front, Rowdy on the rear banner. And if time permits, if I somehow finish this race several days before and whatnot, if timing is right, if I'm able to stream, I'll actually do a pre-race stream. Like, I'll probably, do some happy hour laps. I'll probably just, do some laps on, I don't know, some Daytona, maybe like on a NASCAR game in Daytona or something like that. Or just maybe run some happy hour laps with the cars and whatnot. And y'all can join the VC and we can, talk about the race and other stuff as a kind of a pre-race stream. I've always wanted to do a pre-race stuff, and with this just being only one race, I have more time to do that. Of course, the coverage and style will be similar to our past races. This race will not count on the official channel tally. I think the final channel tally is like 111 races after last year's Atlanta race. That will still remain that way. Again, just a one-off. And of course, this race will premiere on the 4th of July. That will be a Saturday this year at 7:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, signups. Save the date here. Signups will be Saturday, this coming Saturday, June 6th at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I already sort of said that on the initial Discord announcement, but for the YouTube people, this is the sign up date. So save that date, June 6th, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Set an alarm, set a reminder, set a calendar, whatever you need to do. That's the sign up date. And as usual, they'll be on a Google form. I'm gonna make like a short YouTube video saying, "Hey, signups are open. Please join the Discord. Please go to the Google form and join the server." I might do something like that. I could do that, but they'll be on Google Forms as usual because they're the easiest for me to do. They're easy because they're easy for me to do. It's easy to organize everything. And the cool thing about Google Forms is that you can set up like a spreadsheet or Google Sheet to get all the names that filled out the form and organize them to a chart. It makes it so much easier. And the form will automatically close once all 38 slots are filled. I have a Google form plugin that does that because that's always been something people have said in previous signups, like, "Oh, did I get in? Did I get in? Did I get in?" If it says, "Hey, thank you for submitting the form," you're good to go. You're good, unless if some other roadway thing happens. 99.9% of the time when it says, "Hey, thank you for submitting," that means you're good. You're all good. Now, if you go to the form and says, "Sorry, the form has been closed," that means it's been signed. That means signups are closed. And like I said, I have a add-on plugin for Google Forms that automatically closes the form once a certain number of entries have been filled. And also, this is important. The numbers 8 and 18 will not be available out of respect for Kyle Busch. I think that's the right thing to do. I know the 8 when he was using it, or I know the 8 wasn't Kyle's number when he was driving it in before 2023. I understand that, but it's still the RCR number 8. I don't feel comfortable. I don't think it's appropriate to use any of those numbers at this moment. And I'll have and there's alternative numbers. I guess I can replace it with they had the 81, the Jeffrey Earnhardt team in 2019. They had the 81. You can use that's kind of like the substitute, and also the 31 and 33. Those I'm pretty sure. Those are numbers RCR ran at some point, or the very least there's fantasy paint schemes with those numbers, so you can use those. But any numbers with the 8 and 18 will not be available. I think that's the right thing to do. And also, with my years in NR community, I think there's some things that people take way too seriously, and it causes a massive drama and arguments. I don't want that, especially for those numbers, because I have a feeling if I have those numbers open, it's going to cause a massive war and drama to get those numbers. But at this point, I don't think it's appropriate to use those numbers for this race. Now, if signups are slower than expected, I to be honest, I do expect this to have a pretty high demand sign up and everything. But if they are slower than expected, they will close Thursday, June 11th, regardless of how many drivers are in. So just if we get to 33 drivers on by June 11th, I'm gonna close it. No matter how many drivers are filled. I do think we're all gonna fill up all 38 slots. But I'm just saying if we do get it, if it is a situation where not all slots are filled, we'll close them on June 11th, regardless of how many drivers are signed up. Of course, one form submission per person. If you have family members, if you have close family members, if you want to sign up, just tell me and let me know and say, "Hey, you're fine to fill up 2 of them." Let me know. But not for other people. Not for other people saying, "Oh, I want to sign up for this driver because they couldn't make it." I'm not gonna do that. But if it's a close family member or something like that, just let me know and I'll say, "Okay, you can sign up for them." And also I will DM people about the schemes if needed. So that's why I'm about to show you the preview of the sign up form, I'll ask people for their Discords because there's because I do need to contact people to verify. Hey, is this scheme you want to use? Oh, hey, you didn't list a scheme. What scheme do you want to use? And I need to know. I need to know. And if I don't have a reply of what scheme what someone wants to use, I'll just automatically randomly assign a scheme on the following Friday on June 12th. So that's kind of like the deadline of, okay, what scheme do you want to use June 12th? So let me actually show you the sign up form right now. There we go. So I don't have a banner for this yet. I'll make a banner like I typically do for the other races. So here we go. What do you want to be called? How to pronounce your name? What's your pronouns? Your Discord name? Because like I said, I need to know in case we need to contact you. Are you in the server? And I probably need to change. I need to change the link. Your top 3 number choices from 0 to 99. Also, I need to say the 8 and 18 are not available, so don't sign up for those. The sign up form, again, there'll be a banner and also correct link and say the 8 and 18 can't be used there. And what are your preferred schemes do you have in mind for each number? So I listed like the ones I showed on the other slide. Chevy, any schemes for 2018 to 2021 can be used. Dodge and Ford, any schemes for 2019 can be used. Toyota, any schemes from 2017 onwards can be used. And if you're thinking of an IRL scheme, insert the image link here. Or that can apply to any scheme if you want, but mainly IRL schemes. If you want to use a car from the Daytona 500, you can post a picture here. And JSki is a great source for this stuff. JSki is a really good source. So here's JSki. I think we've all been to this website before. But here to go. They got all the paint schemes from all the years. So the years we're going to be focusing on is 2021. All of the paint schemes from that year. 2020, same thing. 2019, same thing. 2018 and 2017. And you just if you're think of a specific IRL scheme like a Darlington throwback or something, just find the corresponding year which it ran, drop it in, copy the image link, put it on there, and chances are someone has made it in NR. Because this 2018-2019 mod stuff's probably some of the most paint schemes made for any NR mod that I can think of. So there's a lot of options for paint schemes. So that's really that does it for this Firecracker 400 info stream. I'll stay on for like a couple more minutes to answer any questions, but that's the gist of it. Signups will be this coming Saturday, June 6th. 38 maximum slots. If we don't get to 38 by Thursday, I close them no matter how many people are in. The duels will be... I probably should have just done a final tally. The duels will be on the 29th. 6 will be on July 1st, and the Firecracker 400, of course, will be on the 4th of July. So that's kind of the gist of it as well. So that's the gist of everything. I'll stay on for a few minutes as well if there's any questions. And of course, if anyone is watching this after the fact, I already pinned the Discord in the chat and in the description and in my channel bio. If you have any questions for me there, be sure you can always ask me on the Discord, even the comment section too. The comments are always up on my videos. You can ask there as well. And if you're asking on Discord, be sure to look at I haven't updated the FAQ, but there's a dedicated Q&A tab on the Discord. That's my preferred place to, answer all the questions. But of course, you can do it on the Firecracker tab as well. That's totally fine. And also, if you are thinking about signing up as well, I might leave a link to this video as well, just because the scheme stuff is admittedly a little kind of complicated than it was before with the old Pepsi and Coke Zero showdowns. You not just, you can't just pick a scheme from this. You have to pick a specific scheme from this year, but here I'm a bit more flexible with the paint schemes. So, yeah, this video is definitely... I'm going to probably post the highlights of this video, like some of the screenshots of the slides I went for in this video as well. What time is it now? It's over 5:09. I'm streaming for almost 40 minutes. Wow. Some other smaller updates. We'll see what type of video games I can get soon, because I know there's a lot of new games coming out, like Forza Horizon 6 is really good. The new James Bond game, GTA 6. If I had a PS5 or a Series X, I know it's coming out. I definitely want to stream more video games, both NASCAR and both racing and non-racing related. So I definitely do, and of course, more travel stuff, like more going to races and other places, because I think doing that stuff is fun. I think it's very very fun as well. Yeah, I guess I'll just end the stream here. So just because I do want to, because yeah, but there's other things that because I don't, yeah, there's only one. It's just me. It's just only one person. So yeah, that'll do it for the stream. Uh, thank y'all for watching. Hope you guys found this video helpful. If there's any questions you want to ask to me about the race or just anything in general, feel free to contact me. Right, if it's the comments on Discord, whatever the case may be. So don't be afraid to ask me any questions. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys for the race. I'll see you guys for the Firecracker Week festivities and also signups.